Hi guys, this month at the All Us Men group we've been talking mainly about Saucha, which is the Sanskrit word for purity. And what do we talk about? Well, we talked about what it was like to feel purity in our heart. What we felt was the aspect of being pure in our mind and whether we found that possible. And this month was a big one really, because Saucha is really all about maybe abstaining from certain things so that you can find cleanliness and purity within your body, whether you abstain from drugs or alcohol, nicotine, caffeine, all those sorts of things, pornography, all those things to help you to feel more of a purer life within you. Also about how we thought about other people, how we felt about ourselves, and the way that we really looked deep into ourselves, and whether we felt that we could be in this world that we live in the bodies that we are contained within, the restrictions that hold us down, the mind that we have to deal with. Is it possible to be really, really, truly pure? And I really looked at it from a personal perspective, where I like my cake and I like a cup of tea, and maybe they're not pure. I do like a little bit of sugar in my diet, and I do like caffeine. So I was thinking about maybe, September was all about taking that away, but also I realized that with purity, or with trying to feel cleansed in some way, there had to be a balance in my life. And what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to have this constant fight with myself, where I was always just thinking about the thing that I've abstained from all the time, because I allowed myself to have it, and then I'm taking it away. But why am I taking it away? And that's the key thing. The key thing that I want to get across today is, why do we decide to stop what we do? And what is the process behind that? And is the process pure of heart and mind? And if so, is that the reason why we are managing to stay away from the thing that we want to take out of our lives? Or do we find that we only do it because we think it should be what we should do, and that's the reason why we end up going back all the time? So I want to give up smoking. You give up smoking for 4 weeks, and you really don't feel that you really wanted to, but you know it's bad for you, and so you go out, you have a drink, and then you start smoking. That's the sort of thing that I'm talking about. If we genuinely respect our body, and we really feel that we deserve to be nourished and looked after and cared for, when we come from that heart space, when we recognize that this body of ours and this mind of ours is much freer, it moves clearer, we have less restrictions. When we are holding on to addictions, do we find that easier with ourselves when we come from a different space? Now, you're going to say to me, well, obviously if you're addicted to drugs and you're addicted to alcohol, it's a lot harder. And if you are, then of course that's difficult. Of course you can't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to do it. If you're addicted to something like caffeine, tobacco, alcohol, drugs, you're always going to find that hard. So the first place to look, I really believe, is from a pure space, which is the heart space. Learning to love ourselves, learning to care for ourselves, learning to nurture ourselves. Maybe that's how we find time within our day to recognize what we really need and what we really don't need, as more to the point. So this month, purity, pure. What am I going to abstain from this month that maybe lead me onto something that is a cleaner, more purer life? Well, so far this month, we're only a few days into September, and I'm sort of racking my brains through what I haven't already had in the last few days. But I will say that I have been waking up every day, and I have been doing my mantra. I have been getting up and doing my affirmations, and so I'm going to stick with that this month. And I'm going to say that I'm going to think of myself as somebody who should be loved and cared for, and I'm going to see myself as that person. I'm going to care for myself, I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to take it from the area of my heart which is pure.